Welcome. This is Do It Live Autonomy Podcast. My name is Joshua Hale. I'm here with Lawrence. We got Rich and Lisa hanging out. Julio, Greg. This is going to be a fine show. Glad you're here with us. We're going to have a whole lot more people popping in, I'm sure. We have a lot to cover this week, but not giving too much away, Lawrence. We got a lot of things queued up. But what was a highlight of yours?
Big highlight for me, definitely the chat Lisa Manfredi had with her friend Sarah the other night, Thursday night. That was great. Definitely recommend catching the replay. I've started listening to her audiobook.
Did you get to catch the after hours party?
A little bit, yes. I was listening in while I was doing some watering and getting ready for bed. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's gone forever. If you weren't there, tough luck. I wasn't there. So now I just get to reminisce and ask other people about it. Hey, Lawrence, you did a fantastic job last week shadow hosting for Friday night's lecture. How was that experience for you with learning a new skill, putting it out in front of people live during a Friday night lecture? Was a little bit of pressure going on?
Well, yeah, thanks a lot. The pressure didn't set in until some things went awry, but I felt very confident going in, had things pretty well set up. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Going back through the post-production, being involved with it made me that much more sensitive to little things here and there, but It was a great learning experience. I look forward to giving it a shot again in a couple weeks.
Awesome. Well, yeah, there's plenty more in your future. I'm happy to hand off the baton. Tyler's been mainly running it this season, and we're happy to. It's such a great way for people to gain experience, right? There's a lot that comes with it, a lot of know-how, that technical know-how, but then, like you said, it's pretty fun once you get the hang of it. And you guys make it look good. Season 1 and 2, whew, looking back, I was using a hacksaw making the skits work, and you guys have nice smooth transitions.
I've learned a lot from Tyler. There's a few little kinks I want to work out. I've got some questions for him. But
from my side, Lawrence, I couldn't tell. Joshua did a good job of training Tyler. Tyler also did a good job of training you. And from my side, it's kind of seamless. So it's appreciated whoever shows up and does work like that with excellence.
Right on.
Well, let's kick into this last week. It was robust and full. I have kind of a behind the scene look where I'm also running Autonomy Unlimited, the marketing extension of Autonomy. And so I got a lot of things to highlight in there. But let's go ahead and just start off with last Q&A on last Sunday. It was a heart, such an emotional Q&A, because Rich really shared a lot of personal stories from his past. And I'm not going to even showcase those. You got to get in the course, and then you can find the replay. But this is a nice little clip of what you see, what's going on Sunday mornings, Sunday afternoons here in Autonomy.
And machinations that these people were conducting in parallel to our lives. So, yeah, it's going on. They can keep saying that, oh, people who see patterns, they have a mental illness. Well, I'd like to get some of those people that write those ideas down and show them some evidence and see how they mentally react to reality. Because they can try to push that, oh, you see conspiracies because that's how you wish the world would. No, I don't wish the world would work that way. Shit blew up in my face and told me the world works that way. Okay? There's a difference. There's a difference. So, yeah.
Just a little sneak peek. There was 2 hours of really great stories, reflections, question and answers, and that's what you'll get when you get inside of Autonomy.
How could I forget? That was the highlight of the week. The second thing popped into my mind, I re-listened the other day at work, especially, Richard's story at the beginning. I've heard parts of it. Some of it's in the 9/11 synchronicity. Other parts I heard on Discord. It was really cool how he laid it all out in that particular instance. Very compelling.
Yeah, I've heard this story several times over from multiple different material too, and yeah, there was definitely even holes being filled for me of just understanding, yeah, the shit that Rich had to live through and put together, and then yeah, luckily he does an excellent job being able to organize information and share it with other people, and so. Because of that, we're all benefiting here 20 years later. So into the work week, we got Facebook ads up and running for our Autonomy lead magnet. And let me pull that up. So for the last 6 weeks, we've been putting together. No, it's been much longer than that. Probably last 3 months, we've been working on doing the Autonomy funnel. What that means is that we're able to put a juicy ad out there. Somebody is interested in that ad. We have an offer attached to that ad, and then they click on it, and then they come into Autonomy and start learning about us and what we have to offer. And so we finally got one of the last components after the whole mechanism has been built, and that is some Facebook ads. We got these up and running last week. I'm going to give you a sneak peek. You might start seeing them if you go to our Facebook page and check out. Might get hit with a retargeting ad, but these are some of the ads that are being tested right now. I'll explain some of the components real quickly. So the image is a pattern breaker. Pattern breakers are what stops you dead in your tracks when you're scrolling on Facebook or Instagram, right? Because your brain's actually just looking for the next dopamine hit. And so we're scrolling, and then as soon as we see something that entertains us, shocks us, angers us, or like hits us in our nostalgic bone from our friends and relatives, we stop, and then we look up and we read, and we're like, we dig in. So these images, while you're scrolling, right, these will stop you. What is this, dude? And then you look up, and then you start digesting what's there. You might check out the headline. You might open this up and be like, whoa, actually, because this is the way that this is modeled, you just read the first sentence, the second sentence. Intriguing. And because you're not staring at a huge paragraph, you don't talk yourself out of like stopping, right? So you're able to just keep on moving through, and then you see what our offer is. What's our offer? We have a really great looking PDF called a report called 19 Essential Skills for Success Not Taught in Schools. So that intrigues you, you click on it, and then blammo, you land on our opt-in page. If you go to getautonomy.info right now /19 skills, you'll end up on our opt-in page where you can get this free report too, and enter into our funnel and experience what we've been building and learning inside of Autonomy for these past 3 seasons. This is how you are able to put value out into the world, make an offer, and be able to get people to take attention and have them lean in with intrigue and learn about you. So we're now getting good results from that. We're called leads, but really they're human beings that are interested in what we have to say. They're now showing up on the calendar. They're getting up, wanting to know, they're wanting to get set up with a hour-long Blueprint for Success call. What that means is that they're able to get on the calendar with Rich, with one of the team members here in Autonomy, one of the graduates, and spend an hour just talking about them. That's all. There's no obligation call where we don't ask you to do anything. All we do is talk about what are your goals, what's your obstacles, what's keeping you from reaching your dreams. And then at the end, you get this great strategy package to be able to implement, taking steps to move forward towards completing your goals. And so at that point, you can learn about autonomy more. You can, if you're interested, you can learn more about that. But otherwise, you get to just get value, walk away, go put it into practice, and make the world a better place. Really excited about this. This is a lot of work, a lot of team members it took to get this up and running. We have the copywriting department. We have the video editing, media production group. We have the me doing and the website design team. We have me doing the mechanics of setting up Facebook ads and Infusionsoft, and there's a lot that goes into it, but once it's working, it's working. And so long as it doesn't break, it's going to just keep on working even while you sleep. That's the beautiful thing about this. And really that's, just a small slice of value that you learn inside of Autonomy, how to set one of these things up for yourself. A couple cool announcements this last week that we covered. Let me do this. Content Safe. Content Safe is a partner of Autonomy Unlimited. They offer a service, a great service, to be able to back up your content in this age of censorship and getting your channels demonetized and shut down. They back up your content, and they can also replicate your content on other networks. So extremely valuable service. We're actually helping them redesign their website. So what you see here is not going to be here for very long. Soon enough, you'll be able to go to contentsafe.co and check out the intriguing copy that the copywriters are working with. We're going to help them out with a new lead magnet, a high value content offer that will be able to intrigue you into exchanging your email in an ethical bribe to be able to get some value, but also stay in touch with what Content Safe has to offer. On top of that, this last week, we became partners with Wicked Reports. Wicked Reports is a big, big chunk of software. They will be able to give you clear numbers on where your leads are coming from. Those leads could either be coming from organic traffic, people looking up your name on Google, finding your website, finding your service, finding your business, or from Facebook ads like I just demonstrated ours, or they could be coming from a number of other email marketing, Twitter, LinkedIn, all these different avenues where you could be applying paid advertising. This will track your audience, and you'll be able to have clear understanding of where each of your leads and each of your customers and clients and students come from. Really excited to get this set up. I just got this last week. We became partners, and this week it's my task to get it all dialed in. Also, we got set up with Infusionsoft. We're now Infusionsoft partners. We're able to get this set up for our clients here in Autonomy Limited and set up all sorts of campaigns, but most importantly, email campaigns. This has a huge layer of complexity and possibilities of being able to connect all these things to turn into an automated sequence. And if you go to 19 skills and get autonomy.info/19 skills and hop on and grab our PDF, you'll experience that that automation that we were talking about and be able to see it for yourself. Go ahead, check it out, study it. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Tuesday night. Tuesday night we had Michael Badnarik on for his Constitution course, the ultimate guide to restore your Constitution. And it was actually really, really great. The subject matter's like difficult to digest. I've heard it several times. I've read his book, and it's still just kind of a jaw dropper. But Michael has some really fantastic stories. I'm going to just kind of play one right here. And
so people are misunderstanding history. The Civil War was not originally about slavery. Slavery was an issue that came in towards the end. It was about states' rights. And the fact that all these people are tearing down Confederate statues, it's like, what, you are only looking at one particular aspect. There's an old proverb from India about blind wise men who are going to examine an elephant. Do you know that story? These like 7 blind wise men hear that there's a new animal in town. It's an elephant, and they're going to go and investigate. And one guy feels the elephant's trunk. He goes, "Oh, an elephant is like a thick snake." And another guy feels his leg. He's like, "Oh, an elephant is like a tree." Another one feels the side. He goes, "Oh, an elephant is just like a wall." Another one feels the tail. It's like a rope. So each of these 7 wise men have limited information. They've jumped to a conclusion based on that limited information, and none of them are actually correct. I mean, you can understand why they would think so, but you really didn't collect all the data. And so if you think that slavery was the only reason for the Civil War, and that General Lee and all of these other Confederate, if slavery was their primary motive, you're fucked up, man.
You'll have to catch the rest in the course, but the story gets even better. And you can find that in the question and answers from this last week's upload, so you can catch the replay in the Constitution section. Michael, you on the call with us right now?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, nice. Other Michael.
Hey, guys.
Cool. I saw your name. I thought you were Badnarik. I was gonna get him to
I'll take
swear
that.
some more.
That's doing
How you
great.
doing, Michael?
I'm doing great. Glad to be
Good.
here.
Yeah, I'm doing well too. So Michael Badnarik has, I think, 3 more lectures to complete. Badnarik had a massive 8.5-hour lecture on the Constitution. I watched it. It was so much for the brain to absorb, but it was nonstop information I've never heard of before. I wasn't that familiar with the Constitution, but afterwards I sure the hell was. And we wanted to make Michael an offer to make it more easily digestible. So we helped him out with Hedda Marie, an Autonomy graduate. She has some background in course design, and so she sat with him and helped him organize the information into half-hour lectures, something that you can easily digest, and then we would do question and answers. So we're almost done with this. It looks like it's going to be 9 or 10 lectures overall, but something that's going to be just extremely valuable, extremely important in this time that we're in, as truth becomes obscure with truthiness, and just having some really hard principles to live by is just really, really important. Anybody catch this week's Constitution course with Michael or have anything to say about Mr. Badnarik?
That clip you picked was priceless because I was thinking, well, maybe you pull the clip about the Electoral College. You know, that was pretty cool. But he doesn't say it's fucked up at the end of it. So that made me laugh out loud. I thought he was on the call too. Sorry, Nimitz.
Yeah.
Lisa was talking to Badnarik right before this, and he said he was going to drop in, and then I guess she's like passing around bum information in between. She came outside from the hot house and felt the cool air, and she goes, "Oh," and I heard it. She looks at me. She's like, was my mic open?" I was like, "Yep." How we roll and do it live.
I was just going to say I did actually witness that his course in in person quite a few years back. I think like 2007 or something like that. He came through Pensacola.
Wow.
It's
you gave him a pocket full of silver?
I did. And it was worth it. I think it was a 2-day course at that point, so it was pretty intense, but definitely worth it. Absolutely worth it.
Cool. Like, how many people were in that class, and what were other people's reactions? Was there anything in there that was just too hard to believe or too hard to, take for truth?
Well, this is probably 13, 14 years ago. So for me, it was like that first, like the I have my own authority kind of thing. I'm actually in charge of my life. I'm the king of my own domain. That was all kind of new stuff for me at that point. But yeah, that's really important stuff, and certainly he embodies that.
Yeah, for sure. Cool, man. That's great. You got to catch that. I hope Michael knows that. He needs to get it through his thick skull. I hope he is on the call. His thick skull that he makes a serious impact in the world, and he definitely has in my life.
Yeah, definitely for a lot of people.
There'd be no autonomy course if I hadn't seen Badnarik talking in 2004. I mean, he's not totally responsible for the course, but had I not gone on to like libertarian ideas, here's what happened. I was watching, 2004. So it was like Skull and Bones versus Skull and Bones that year. And I was a little discouraged. I'm like, these guys are both corrupt. And then I heard this guy on TV. He was like on C-SPAN or something. And he is speaking in political terms in the most intelligent manner I had heard a living politician do. I was like, what is this all about? And his name was Michael Badnarik, and he was running for president of the United States. And I said, you know what, motherfucker, you got my vote. So I voted for him. And that's the last time I ever voted for president. And so years later, when a friend of his was in this course, one thing led to another, and now we all get to talk to Michael on a regular basis. It's beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. And I hope he does put together a course on the black hole. All right, next up we had go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, what he knows about freedom is very essential, because if people like him don't proliferate their ideas into the future, freedom's in jeopardy right now. I think it would probably get extinguished if more people don't know what he knows. So it's essential that he's doing the teaching that he's doing.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of phase 2, we had some really exciting meetings this last week with prospects, potential clients who actually are now clients, so I don't need to call them prospects. But we're now working with Mark Passio, who we're going to be giving him some support on media production and newsletters, and we'll see where this relationship goes. But he put a call out. We heard it. We assembled a team. We made him a presentation and an offer, and he accepted that offer. So that's really exciting. Gives our team a chance to show their proficiency at their skills, and also the apprentices have the opportunity to sharpen their skills with working on some real production. We've put together a slide, and this is actually with another client now of Autonomy Unlimited, Benny Wills. Benny Wills, we're going to be helping him out, build out his website, create one of those fancy funnels that I was just describing about earlier, so that he's able to grow, capture, and grow his audience. So talking about sensitive subject on YouTube, man, you don't want to be relying on YouTube for your livelihood. So we're going to help him out with that. Content Safe is going to be backing up his content, so he's able to continue his parrhesia, ability to speak freely, and really continue on with sharing truth out into the world. But here's just a little snippet of our meeting that we had with Benny Wills. This is just kind of us going through our services. All right, sales funnel design. This is really our where our muscles are for our marketing. This is an extensive campaign. This is something that you would end up getting to, but you would have multiple entrances, either Facebook advertising, this could be podcasts, this could be your website. They click the call to action, and then they get a lead magnet opt-in, and that would then take them to, jumping ahead. This would take them to your landing page. Meanwhile, they enter into your email sequence, and they get an education sequence where, just like, I don't know if you've checked out the 19 skills, but every day or so, they'll be getting to know you more, getting more value, and then learning about what all you have to offer. And then from all that, then you have an audience ready for your course once that's prepared. So, and then eventually, once the course is built and complete, and evergreen, or you're doing it in seasons, then this whole thing just starts running on its own, and you put in some dollars up front, and then it spits out 10 times that in the end.
Oh, it's
What is he talking about? Get Autonomy. If any of that stuff sounds fascinating or like magical, or you don't really want to know how to do that, but you want to hire somebody who does, because you need more audience members, clients, customers, then come talk to us. But that was really great too. We're getting this down to where we're able to present these ideas in front of people. They understand it, they grasp it. Rich, I just had Gabriel Reed write up a cheat sheet for grammar, for marketing grammar. So we'll actually be sending this off before we meet with people. They'll get
That's excellent.
Nice cheat sheet, 17 marketing terms that you need to know before we meet. So this is getting really nice and coming together. Everybody's pitching in, and we're just front loading all this great value so people can understand and see clearly and know the steps to take in order to reach their goals for their business, for their personal lives, for their brand, even if it's them as an individual. Or, like I said, there's a whole team supporting these visions and these dreams, so you can be part of a team. You can help others. I love helping other people. It gets me up every morning, and it gives me purpose. So I'm really.
I don't even think Sabri Subi has the grammar sent ahead of time. It's like, hey, in this meeting, we're going to be throwing around some new terms so that you have an idea ahead of time. Here's the glossary. That's brilliant.
Yeah. It'll look good. Next up.
So Gabriel could be he reviews our process, and he's like, you need this here person. I don't know what that role's called, but it's like a little tweak, little improvement, little shine, little polish, little finishing. That's
Yeah,
nice.
man, he's a grammar Nazi. I appreciate having him on there. I don't know if that term's appropriate nowadays, but
I think they call that QA/QC, quality assurance, quality control.
there you go.
Man, I'm telling you, you guys are really knocking it out of the park. You guys are putting a professional glean on all this stuff that's just out of the park. Man. I'm so excited.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks. I appreciate hearing that. Speaking of professionalism, we have Monetary Mindset with Lisa Manfredi and Sarah Mead. No.
Crumb.
Crum. Thank you. We had a special guest this last week, Sarah Crum, and they were talking about monetary mindset. Lawrence here, he came up with his, was it your first intro? Just gonna
Not
play
my
it.
first intro.
So this is a graphic clip that Lawrence put together in order to slap on the front of that guest lecture. Here it is.
Opportunities to do the things that they really care about.
Oh, wait, no. I really want to. Nice. That had a good tone. Way to match up their personalities.
So what would you say to someone that's like, yeah, but I need this job. I need to pay the bills or support my family, or I can't do the thing that I'm actually passionate about because that won't make me enough money. Like, where do you even start?
Well, actually, lots of people have come to me in that situation, or they say, oh, the work that I'm doing isn't the real work I want to be doing, and or I have these clients, and they're the clients who pay the bills, but they're not the clients I really enjoy working with. It's all versions of the same thing. Just to take that particular example, the easiest way to turn that around, if you go back to what I said about money actually being a form of love, it's an energy of love, that in my language. So it's a beautiful thing. If you realize that even the money that you're being paid for that work, which you do to pay your bills, the work that's not your passion, that's a beautiful thing that's coming into your life that enables you to support your family, pay your bills, have a life, and do all of those things and be grateful for it. Really, really appreciate this beautiful energy. It's remarkable how quickly people start to get opportunities to do the things that they really care about, or to do more of them. But also what tends to happen, I can picture a conversation of somebody in exactly that position, and she said, you know what, I've just started to really appreciate those clients. I thought they were really boring and but actually I love working with them. And her whole attitude changed. So everything gets better when you appreciate, even if you don't have much. I'll tell you one story because it's such an incredible story. A woman who is doing a course with me, and a few months ago she was broke. She's in debt. She's a coach. No clients. Really, really stuck. And she broke down in tears with one of the people who works with me, and had a big, I don't know what to do session. And then after that, she sold one of her books. And for her books, when she sells a book, she gets $4. And she just decided that once, I'm going to really appreciate this $4. And so she just was very, very happy for the $4. And within a week, she had signed somebody up for a $1,000 course. And she had a workshop coming up. She had, I think, 3 people signed up, and she was just a few days away from it, and she wanted to have 10 people on the workshop. And she instead of saying, oh my God, I've got to get another 7 people, she said, I'm so grateful for these 3 people who've signed up for my workshop, and I don't care if nobody else comes at all. I'm going to do, the best workshop. I'm really appreciate these people. And she filled the workshop. And then 2 weeks later, she comes on again. We do regular calls, and she tells me she's just sold 3 $5,000 programs. And you can translate those numbers into whatever numbers are appropriate for you. For some people, you might need to multiply the numbers to make it meaningful. But the key thing that she got was that before, when she got that $4, she would have said, oh, well, that's not worth anything. I've got $20,000 of debt. What difference is $4 going to make? Then she brings in 1,000. But it's not enough. It's like, it's nice to have that 1,000, but it's not enough. It's not going to pay the debts. I'm not even going to keep up with my bills. Then she gets another couple of thousand, same story. And we maintain this thing like it's never enough, it's never enough. And money, in the book, it actually explains that if you say all the time it's never enough, it has to make sure that you have never enough. That is a request, just like a wish. You are wishing for never enough, and you will always experience never enough until you break that. So gratitude and appreciation, they're very ordinary, everyday teachings, but if it's genuine, it's really powerful. Gratitude creates currency, which is flow, which is money.
That's powerful. In my own experience, yeah, I came from an extremely lack mentality, and I had to learn that myself, like the hard way. I mean, it felt like no matter how hard I worked, no matter how hard I tried to like budget what I had, I never had enough. And it really did take examining my mindset to change that. And then abundance started showing up in my life. Anybody else have experiences like that?
I'm going to have to say absolutely. I think that's probably one of the biggest hurdles a lot of people have is that, that kind of, I guess it is kind of a fear of success that's kind of programmed into a lot of people that, money is I'm not exactly sure where I heard this today, but they were talking about that, like that perception of money is dirty. And like how, and it was essentially what you said is that kind of like, that negative approach to the transactions of money, and it's it's just not that at all. It's a medium of exchange. It's a tool that we use, and we should be thinking about it a lot differently. And unfortunately, it's part of that scarcity training that we're all kind of conditioned into. That's very hard to break, and I think that's certainly one of the things that even a lot of our autonomy students are struggling with, that kind of stuff, and it's an important thing to address. And, I'm so glad to hear that story, because it's beautiful.
Because it started with just the $4, right? I mean, it could be even a quarter. I don't like pennies. I still don't like pennies, but quarter, like I can appreciate finding a quarter. And
there was the see a penny, pick it up, all the day you'll have good luck. I can remember when I was a kid. I heard that. That's a different kind of attitude.
Yeah, just showing appreciation for what you got, what comes your way, and yeah, you literally like open that up. And I still, this is my relationship with money. It's a flow, just like what she said, and you could stem yourself off from that flow with a poor attitude and that lack mentality, and you literally stop opportunities from making their way to getting to you. And so, man, yeah, such a massive thing I had to like overcome, and still there's still remnants of it, but I'm definitely now finally seeing the consequences of having a firm grasp on my mindset to where I don't let that self-doubt or that small talk play in my head, and definitely not come out of my mouth. And yeah, I have that flow definitely is reflecting now in my life with opportunities, with, I'm not struggling now to pay my bills. I'm now learning gaining financial intelligence to be able to manage what I do have even better. And that seems to be like cracking open the river even more. Like now that I'm showing responsibility to be able to handle more, now I'm allowing myself to have more. And it's difficult to explain to another person, but from myself looking back in my past and my experiences, that's how it works for me. So it's cool to hear Sarah describe it the same way. Anybody else have anything to share before moving forward?
I'm happy that everyone was up for the conversation. I think it's really important, and I thought it was awesome. Glad everyone had questions and engaged. And anyone that's interested in having more of that conversation, I would be happy to do that. Anyone that is interested in reading her book, if you want to talk about her book, I'd also be happy to do that. So yeah, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, I think I want to listen to her audiobooks. I like how she describes it in terms of energy, and it is a currency. Yep. So I'm looking forward to like hearing what money had to say through her, because it was just interesting the narrative, how she unfolded it, and how much I agreed with it.
Awesome.
Lisa, what's next week going to be about?
I think I'm going to do infinite banking. How does it actually work? And then how do we use it after that for specifics? But like, hey, how does this thing actually work?
Awesome. I'll be there for that.
Cool.
All right. Well, moving on to Friday night's lecture. This was last night, and it's a good one. Like, there's a lot to the autonomy season. We're now into week 14. We just wrapped up week 13, but you got to take some punches at first, do some self-examining, and then you learn about all the treasure chest of opportunities at your disposal. And man, Rich really went through the gambit of all these different terms, and if you're not familiar with them, you probably have no clue what they are at first, but then Rich does a really great job at presenting what they are, how to use them. And then obviously people have ideas, people want to achieve greatness in their lives, and they just need the missing components to be able to make those bridges. So I got a couple slides pulled up to just kind of showcase some of the components that we're talking about. I talked about this earlier, right? Email automation. It's extremely powerful because you get this up and running, and then it becomes automated. But what that really means is you're able to make your offer consistently even while you sleep, right? And that's how you really make a huge impact, because you going through your day can only do so much. But when you figure out how to turn your offer into an automation, you're able to put that out there to the right people consistently. Anybody have any questions about email automation, or did they have any aha moments from last night's lecture? Okay, moving along. Webinars. 7 plot points of most webinars. Once you know this, you can watch a webinar and you can start breaking it down and analyzing it. It's one thing to, be out there and have some pain points and then have this magic webinar come across your feed of like solving that pain point and checking it out. It's another thing, like understanding how webinars work. What are the like 7 plot points like this, and then you can go and study these things, and it becomes really fascinating. You get to gain what the value that they're offering, the wisdom that they're offering, but also you start seeing like, oh, I see what they're doing here. Oh, nice one. Good offer there at the end. I can see how you're applying scarcity. Nice work. But what's great is after 3 seasons, Autonomy is ready for our webinar. So I have a feeling as soon as season 3 wraps up, it's probably going to be at the top of our queue to accomplish. I know Rich has a stack of cards all ready to go for his webinar. All we need to do is turn the cameras on and probably do a live audience, and he'll knock it out of the park with one take. Rich, what are your thoughts on that?
That's funny because I just said I'm the one turning the cameras on. That's why it's not done yet. We're close. We're close. I want to go through. I want to go through. Look, I'm an Emerald, so I want to go through the best materials that I have, which is Sabri's course in weeks 4 and 5.
Yeah.
I want to revisit that. I want to look at the Quantum Growth Bible. I want to make sure that I have all the right ingredients, and then I'll like fill it all in. That's the plan. But that's me buying time.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. That's why I'm putting you on the hot spot right now, because.
But the first thing we could do is put in our email chain the PorkFest video, because that's something people should be familiar with before they get on the phone.
Yeah, I almost attempted that.
That's a good placeholder.
I almost attempted that last night, but my eyes were starting to cross. I was like, I better not touch with this thing.
I thought that Rich always says that we don't have to be finished in order to put something forward. And here there are all these steps he has to do before he does it. How does that work? What is it? 2 sets of rules or something?
Yeah, thanks for calling me out.
You're welcome.
Should we have it done by end of the second week of July? Because this is a holiday week coming up. Can't expect me to get it done this week, right?
No. Yeah, I know there's a great process in this community that you can just practice with and give it a good shot, and people will show up and be able to give you real-time feedback right afterwards, and you can either use it or improve it after that.
I was gonna say, I don't practice, I do it live. Just do it. I used to practice that what you've been missing that I did like in 2011. Man, Lisa could tell you we probably did 25 takes, 30 takes of some of that stuff.
Wow.
Pretty exhausting. Never again. Do it live. That's a real thing now. That's how things get done. That's how we got here, yeah.
Yeah. And then you just, yeah.
I mean, this podcast is named after the end scene in What You've Been Missing. So if no one's ever seen it, just type in YouTube, WYBM, What You've Been Missing, and you'll find a multi-part prototype of something that was way too expensive and took too long to do another one of. But at the end scene is me cursing at the teleprompter. It has something to do with Do It Live, I think. Yeah. A lot of YouTube searches going on right now. It's gonna be trending. Oh, I just saw a mouse run under here. There's a mouse right here.
I'm sure Lisa's delighted. What I was
Well,
thinking,
we're outside. There's animals.
Okay, outside.
We're not in the kitchen.
I was imagining you in your kitchen.
Well, you're dirty then.
You don't do it live in the kitchen? You just do
I'm doing a roast coast to coast right now. You're in Victoria, British Columbia, right?
Yes.
Vancouver Island?
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm 3 hours ahead of you. So all my jokes will seem slow to you.
So what I was thinking is like, we've done.
Who puts this train back on track?
Back on track. We've done a few shows before Raising Excellence was live, just with the girls and stuff. We recorded some stuff. It was some good conversation, but then afterwards we were like, no, that's just so stupid. Nobody's gonna want to listen to it. No, let's not. And it never went anywhere. And so that's why afterwards do it live, because if you pre-record it, you will talk yourself out of it. Or I will. I have.
There's a new podcast starting tomorrow. It's called Raging Excellence.
That'd be fun. we could do like head-to-head contest.
Yeah, it's for those who are tangry, but like on point. So it's raging excellence. It's going to be a bunch of Linux nerds, and yeah, we're just hoping to get a couple raising excellence misspellings, and that's how people will find our podcast.
Anybody else have any good anecdotal experiences this last week? I know there was graduation exercises taking place. I didn't have any myself, but anybody have any good experiences you want to share?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Julia was on the call, and we had a little session ourselves not too long ago. I think Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday. One of the season 10 exercises. But man, I'm telling you, we've got a lot of things going on. With all the things that like the copywriters are doing these days, and all the extra stuff that we've got coming up for season 4. And there is a lot going on, but I'm really excited about all the new faces we're seeing too.
Nice. Julio, how was your experience? You able to come on camera and talk about how your interview went?
What's going on here? I'm getting called out now, aren't I?
Hey.
How you going?
Is that Tori?
Yes, it is.
Hi, it's nice to meet you, Tori. We were hearing about you last night.
Hi, Tori.
Hi, Richard. Yeah, so apparently I was introduced yesterday without being present myself.
Right. You were. Well, it's nice to finally meet you. Julio, how was your integration exercise? How'd that go, your graduation?
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm graduated yet, because I'm still reflecting on doing the interviews, being interviewed, and I'd like to see more change in myself before I want to present it to you guys.
Nice. Well,
Rich gave me some space. He said, "Look, you can do it in season 4 if you want to, when you want to present it. So until I feel like I'm in a place where I can contribute, I'll know when that is, and I'm looking forward to that. So I always like to be doing it live, like you guys suggest. It really does make a difference."
I bet you could find a way to contribute by the end of July. So just because I said you could do that doesn't mean you have to procrastinate and do that. We're cogitating on our end, Julio.
All right, I hear loud and clear. I'm getting a lot of value out of it, that's for sure.
I heard a good analogy is like a pair of jeans, and apparently the way that you make jeans and they dye it blue takes several dips into the dye, and they dip the jeans in and then they let it dry for 6 hours, and then it's a little bit bluer, and then you dip it in again and then dry it and it's a little bit more bluer, and then you just keep going and going. And really that's how the Autonomy course is designed, to where like it's never finished, but each exposure you just get a little bit more like a pair of blue jeans, comfy.
Yeah, no, I love it. For sure, I'm just going to enjoy doing more and more of them. So what I do love is about the fact that as I do more of these, yes, I am starting to feel a little bit more comfortable, and by being able to look back at them and then see how I'm responding and how I'm speaking, it's really interesting. I'm finding, man, do I really speak like that? Or do I really respond like that? Or some parts maybe not seem, but don't seem as authentic as, being my true, real self. And, I can see that I'm just going to overcome those eventually. So I'm looking forward to more and more of that. And thanks to, Lawrence and to Michael and everybody else that I've been, connecting with. I'm just really grateful and honoured to be here, work with you guys. So I love what's going on. I love everything that's happening. It's awesome.
It's a real pleasure to have you, Julia. And welcome, Tori.
Thank you. It's nice to meet everybody. I'm sure I'll meet many more of you over the coming months.
if you ever find some extra time on your hands, you can start digging through the library and checking out everybody's early interviews, and you'll see you'll be able to see how everybody has to go through that journey, right? Everybody comes in here a bit off put and uncomfortable, and lo and behold, people get more comfortable and more figure out how they can contribute value, and then things just start clicking, and then that's when things really start moving for her.
Tori, can you ride a bike?
So I know that growth happens outside of the comfort zone.
Nice. It's all about getting comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You might need to ask that question again, Rich.
I said, Tori, have you ever learned to ride a bicycle?
Yes, I have.
All right.
I've ridden a child's bike, but I haven't learned to ride an adult bicycle. And yeah, I'm not very big, so maybe, you know, just finding the right size bike.
So the idea, it's about getting past the awkwardness. So a bicycle is not a lot of fun when you're struggling to keep your balance, but once you do, then you can explore the world as you please, and you can look around and not worry about like how to pedal, how to keep your balance. So it doesn't take that long to get your balance, is what I'm saying. It's awkward for a little bit, and you know Julio, so you're good.
I did catch that part of the lecture yesterday before I had to go.
Cool.
Nice. And she was hoping she heard you the first time, Rich. She was just really hoping she didn't have to answer that.
No, I actually I thought Richard said bite. Like what kind of bite can you contribute? And I said, well, the bite
And that's
size.
why the second time I said bicycle, so you didn't have that excuse. Not my first rodeo. Good job.
All right. Well, it's the top of the hour, and I do have a little sneak preview for those that have hung on for this long in the call. We're moving to Kajabi. Really excited about this. This is going to be our new housing of our course, and it is. It's like a Ferrari. Teachable was good to us, but we've outgrown it, and we're ready to move on. So soon enough, we'll be moving the student body into our online course here in Kajabi, but you get a sneak peek right here first. We are already getting season 4 shined up and polished, ready to go. And these are the courses that are already in here, and we are replicating from Teachable. And when a new student signs up for Autonomy, they're going to land here and have these pre-courses available to be able to take while they're waiting for the new season, if they choose to wait. And this is going to give them a lot to chew on, plus also, you know, give them a nice framework for ethics, for the ability to critically think, to knowing how to be your own sovereign person. This is what I got accomplished last night, actually. Tony's going to be working on giving me some copy in order to flesh this out a little bit, but here it is. Nice. Still need his little profile picture.
If you need copy, I have the original document from which he was teaching.
Oh, nice.
So you could probably just pull a couple things from there.
Yeah. If I don't hear from him in a couple of days, then I will.
Yeah, because he might be on vacation for the 4th or something. And then for Independence Day. And then the other aspect is for graduates of any season, I want them to have availability of all the seasons that we've done, if they wanted to dig in. But new people coming in who haven't gone through a season, I don't want them to see any of that. They could just see the prerequisites. Is that possible?
Yeah, so new people will just see these 4, right? The next season and Trivium, Ethics Societies, Ultimate Guide to Restore Your Constitution. And then for everybody else, Autonomy past seasons, This will continue to grow. I asked Kajabi,
All right.
I said, how many videos can we stuff into a course? And they said,
Unlimited.
unlimited. I said, we're going to test that. University of Reason Library is going to house all the fantastic extracurricular material that, just like what we've been covering this last week, people just step up and start sharing fantastic pieces of work. And so the library is where all that's going to be held in Autonomy Platinum. That is for how to leverage your influence. If you're really looking to put that to work on learning about affiliate marketing, how to market yourself, and then Autonomy Limited Higher Education. There's a lot of action happening right here. This is where we're storehousing all of our tutorials, walkthroughs, how-tos for the apprentices and for the freelancers. So we're naturally learning and growing, and so we're capturing all that growth into a library that's going to be here, and it's broken off into departments: copywriting, marketing, social media, website design. Like any of these things that you're interested in, once you join Autonomy Unlimited, either as an apprentice or just as a graduate who just wants to peek around, you'll be able to freely dive into these deeper departments and learn at a much higher rate. And here's a nice little special gift. Peace Revolution, we're going to be moving all 100 episodes, 98 episodes into our course. So this is going to have a kick-ass app that's going to go with it. You're going to be able to just touch with a couple taps on your phone, pop open any lecture and play that video within this app on your phone. Literally today, Rich, I was trying to get into Teachable and I'm like locked out. I can't even like get into Teachable through the freaking browser. I couldn't find my password. It was a mess. So that's why I wasn't able to listen to Manfredi's video today, because I was mobile and I couldn't even get into our course. So really excited about the app, and we're going to put this in motion. We'll see. We'll see if we can hold out till graduation. We might just start bringing people over there before graduation. Because
well, what's cool is everyone here has lifetime enrollment. So it means lifetime enrollment. That means you can come back for future seasons, but it also means you get access to all the courses that we've developed.
And
so in the future, some of these courses might cost money for people new coming in, and they could have lifetime enrollment from there. But most of you have been here from season 1, season 2, season 3. You've got to see a lot of this developed, and you still get to have access to all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean the extra course probably has like 40. We probably brought on another 20 lectures from this season. So library is going to be robust, just starting at this point. And then yeah, each season we just get a lot more to pack full. Anybody else have anything they want to share? Greg, you came on camera. You want to pop in and say hi?
Yeah, hi guys. I just following up what you're saying. I know Julio had expressed some concerns about he was wanting to continue growth, and he and I have been since the beginning of the course catching up about every 2 weeks or so. So we did the interview earlier in the week where he was the interviewer, I was the interviewee, and to me, he's doing a fantastic job. And I think in my mind anyway, he's come a long way from our first week 3 integration exercise, the simple interview, how did you get here, your views on life type of thing. So anyway, that would be my input. I think he's probably come a lot further than he thinks he has. I understand everybody's kind of like internally self-critical, but in my opinion, he's come a long way.
I agree with you, Greg.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And the other thing, Greg, real quick, is you need to be looped in on the Linux meeting. So either find Luis or Eric Furland or one of the Linux guys, or Roy. Roy can tell you too.
Okay.
There's a need for skills. So we're summoning you to a meeting.
All right, cool. I think that's one of the things in Discord, right? The Linux.
Down below, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll post it in there. We're gonna have a meeting. We got
All right,
important
cool.
stuff to do.
All right. Yeah, and I think I've got my interview with Lawrence. I think it's Wednesday now, so looking forward to that as well. Now that I've got to practice with Julio. So.
Greg, what have you thought about the last few weeks of material in the course and just learning about the gambit of digital marketing?
Yeah, the copy one was kind of mind blowing for me because, like you said, once you think about it or see it, then you start seeing it everywhere. And in the company I work for, I realized, man, what a disaster. Part of it, and I think I was telling Julio this. I was telling somebody that we deal in dual language here. It's Arabic and English, and it's a crack up because what you find is a company will either have an English copywriter or an Arabic copywriter. The company I used to work for had both, and it was smart because there are certain words that do not translate, or if you did do a direct translation, it is not something you'd want to put on a marketing brochure or anything. And I told them I would start taking pictures of some of the things that came from Arabic, transliterated into English, and will make you laugh out loud. So I'll start taking more photos of those. But anyway, long story short, what I've noticed is it's just awful. It's really poor. So it got me thinking a lot about that, and then how to go about it for myself. And then on the webinar side, like yesterday, I sat through the lecture, and I'm trying to figure out what I would do that would be a webinar. I'm trying to set up something where I can do hands-on courses with kids and that sort of thing. It's easier to do here because you don't have all of the, you wouldn't have to sign all these lawyer release forms and all of that sort of thing to, do something with other people, allow people to come into your shop, that sort of thing. So I'm working through that now, but I guess maybe that would translate on a webinar, or at least some kind of form where you're doing it, you're showing what you do via video, that sort of thing. But I guess I got to think more about how it relates to what I'm trying to do, but it's still interesting nonetheless.
I already know Rich is already thinking of something he's about to say. He just can't help it. Rich.
All right. So my first thought was, as far as that, the custom frame that you did.
Yeah.
You could have a pitch of what you do, and then you cut in some B-roll of things you've done, and you might have somebody who says something on film. And so you could show like how you show up, you measure, you listen to the customer, and then you go back to your shop and you start to do, and then you deliver. That could all be shown in the webinar.
Oh, okay.
It's like a long format commercial.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're actually providing value for somebody, and that's what you're showing.
So I'm taking notes here too. So one of the things I had never considered too was the advertising on things like Instagram and all that. And I was talking with a friend just yesterday about that very same thing, and he put out a jewelry box that he had made and already got a bunch of hits on it, and now is building a custom watch box for a guy. And he's a banker. That's what his day job is, and he does this on the side, kind of like I'm doing. But there's definitely appears like there's a lot of interest out there for custom made stuff. So
my wife's uncle is a painter, and he just puts his paintings up on Instagram, and he's old and retired, but yeah, he sells his paintings for thousands of dollars through Instagram.
So yeah. Greg, for instance, the watch box, right?
Yeah.
There's a guy, he's got a bunch of watches. He wants a display box. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
How many watches is it going to hold?
65 watches.
Jesus Christ, man!
And these are I
was picturing 4 to 5. Okay.
No,
so here's what I'm going to tell you. Yeah. The average cost of any watch that goes in that box is $5,000 to $10,000. So value-based pricing would say you could charge $10,000 to $25,000 or $30,000 for that box, because that's nothing to someone who's putting how many? 65? What would you say?
Yeah, 65. And I think the
you can
average
always
price-
lower your price, but help them out and say, look, I'm going to help you with your price. I've been learning stuff in this course. You're not bidding enough on this. Let me help you structure your offer. Give me 10%. It'll pay for itself. And the guy's going to appreciate it more, because if he has that many watches, it's not a thing for him to spend 10 to 25 to 30 grand on something to hold that much value.
Exactly. And I think the average price of the watches that are going into are about $25,000.
See, there you go. I'm underbidding.
Yeah, and the fascinating part is he wanted the watch pillows, the thing that you put the watch around to set it in the box. You can buy them on Amazon and they're made out of felt. And this guy doesn't want that. He wants satin and velvet. So he wants the combination of the two. So found a tailor that will make the little watch pillows. So yeah, you're right.
The other issue is, there's one other issue. This is a very high ticket issue. So take a note on this. Some of those watches then are going to be automatics. They're going to be self-windings. And you actually want mounts that move so that they'll not freeze up.
Yeah.
So those are even more expensive to hold those types of self-winding watches, the automatic watches they used to call them.
Like, you want the box to keep moving around on a platter or something like that so they don't stop?
Well, you need it. The automatics require a kind of a little bit of a jolt. So it keeps the armature spinning and keeps it wound. So I've already got the design for that done, because I was making one for myself and I was designing it like a camshaft of a car. So it was on, basically on a cylinder, and then there were lobes. So they were all kind of offset one another. So then it was on a small reduction motor. So I was thinking about that and was like, perhaps I can build that mechanism for the automatics he has and sell that onto him as a uplift feature for this particular watch box.
Wow.
Yeah, you took what I said and you raised me 3.
No,
you do understand, for Joshua's benefit, the way the automatic watches work is that the motion of your wrist, like the acceleration of your wrist moving, spins it and cranks the spring, and then that's how it continues to run if you wear it, right? So Rolex and a lot of watches above that, they don't have batteries. They are self-winding watches, and once you start to wear it, it keeps winding itself. And when you put it in a case, that's the place where it can freeze up, and then it's real expensive to get them fixed.
Yeah, it's better off to keep them wound effectively.
So let's say it's a $50,000 watch box. Who else needs one of those after? The first thing I would do, if you sell that, then get a ad and Rob report, because that's where everybody who buys watches and cars and planes and stuff like that looks for stuff like that. They're like, oh, $50,000 watch box. I don't have one of those. I'll buy one. You could have a thing.
Oh my God, Greg, that's the webinar. The
So,
$50,000 watch box. That's the title of your webinar right there.
Yeah, exactly. The Rob report, I've actually gone through that myself. Just thinking out loud, the reason I designed the watch winder the way I did was because people that are into mechanical watches tend to be into machinery in general. They tend to be into cars, that sort of thing. So I wanted it to look like a camshaft, and I wanted it to have a timing gear on it and all that. So it was something you didn't put in a drawer in a box. It's something that you had as a display. And I think that plays in. Okay.
You're so much nerdier on this than I expected. That's so good, dude. That's refreshing. You've got an artistic angle and you know how to do it. That's worth a lot, man.
Yeah.
You still have to come to the Linux meeting, though.
Yep, I will. I will. Since I'm talking to you guys, I have a question for you. I've already come up with logos and all that for a business that never thought was going to turn into a business. It was just my hobby. And the name of the business was, originally I just had Bargle Woodworks, and then I decided not to use my last name, and I came up with the Dromedary Woodworks or Dromedary Designs. I ended up moving into that way. I can do machine stuff and woodworking stuff. And the more I think about it, and I've asked probably a dozen people here, and it doesn't speak to them at all. They're like, your logo doesn't, and I'll share the logo. It doesn't mean anything to us. It doesn't say what you do, that sort of thing. So I've been trying to come up with other ideas for a name that's actually a bit more appropriate. But maybe this isn't the right forum for that. But I think what I'll do is I'll share my ideas and then see if I can get some constructive feedback on what you think actually, it's self-evident what it is that I do.
First thought that came to mind was the word tensegrity.
Tensegrity?
Tensegrity.
Okay.
It's integrity mixed with tensile strength. It's a word that was coined by Buckminster Fuller, and it is what makes geodesic domes possible. Because the principle is that the individual parts are only so strong, but when they work together, they're stronger than themselves. And if one of them fails, the structure doesn't fail because the energy is just decentralized.
Yeah. All the moments are separate.
Yes.
Okay.
The moments of inertia.
Tensegrity. Okay, that's an interesting one.
It's equally arcane as what you already have, but I thought it might be. I mean, it was a notion that came to mind.
Okay. I'll come up with about a half a dozen or so and then maybe put them out there. I know that Robbie did that early on and got some good feedback on his, the logo for his homestead, his farm. So I think that would be beneficial. All right. I think I've taken up enough of your time.
That was fascinating.
When you get past the name and things like that, schedule a discovery call with us. We can help you talk through like what do you need to do next and figure out your next steps.
Okay, cool.
We did one with Robbie last week. It went fantastic. So, and it wasn't for his homestead project. He's got more than one cool project going on.
Oh, really? Okay, good. Okay.
And when you go to the Linux meeting, you're going to have more than one cool project going on too.
All right, I look forward to that. I want to get into Linux. If I can get AutoCAD to work on it, I'm completely sold.
All right. Well, I guess I'm driving now. Joshua had to run. Child got hurt, but hopefully he's fine.
Ooh.
Anybody got anything else?
Well, Lawrence, now that you have your own podcast, you have clips to play. What do you want to do? Start playing records, old-timey stuff, family movies. What do you got? We're all tuned in.
We got a
live chicken camp.
I've got hardly anything queued up.
Where's Agnes the Pearl? Agnes the Pearl is out there sleeping right now in the chicken coop.
Yeah. I was gonna show off the meetup with Ryan. That was another highlight of my week.
Yeah, so how did that happen? Did he come to your place? You go to his place? What happened? I saw one picture.
Yeah, he was in town in Chino Hills, checking in with a client. So he drove over on his way up to LA to have dinner with a friend. Stopped by, checked out the chicken coop, and we had a nice chat. Shared some kombucha. And yeah, it was really cool. We're hoping to stop by and see them in Fresno. Candace and I are taking a trip week after next. So we should be stopping by and meeting Krista and the kids. And then man, I was gonna show Joshua the meme of the day, because I saw in the show notes there's an idea to have a meme of the week on this show. But since Joshua's not here, I don't know. I don't want to bore everybody. Same thing. But I don't know, not everybody was there. In the copyright meeting, copywriting clinic. Excuse me, Agnieszka. Copywriting clinic this morning. We had talked about a little what happens when you don't have autonomy.
I still think the top of that should say without autonomy. And then at the bottom it should say get autonomy.
Some people in autonomy want to live in a van down by the river.
Yeah, that threw me off. I mean, I have looked at the idea of a tiny home on a piece of land somewhere. I should have been more prepared. But
good. It's good that you're not prepared.
I've got slides from last week's lecture. No, but I can roll the outro, little eye candy, and then we can talk about whatever.
Or you could roll your cool commercial and then the outro.
All right. Well, we're wrapping up the Do It, Live, or Do It Live podcast, however you want to say. And I'll play us out.
Oh wait, Kai's off on videos.
Who's going to be first off the mute this morning?
Oh, how are you guys?
Okay.
Hey, sorry, I just jumped in here. I was in the background doing stuff and still actually moving. It didn't work out the last time, so just letting you know where I'm at with that. But good to hear you guys' voices and the camaraderie and the jokes and things and how things are all going for you. Yeah, just wanted to chime in there quickly before you sign off. Good to be back.
Thanks for chiming in. You said you're still moving?
Yeah, it didn't work out the last time, and in the meantime, I've been involved with a group here that's basically about informing folks about what's really going on behind the scenes in the world, and that's pretty much it is at the same time as the regular Friday evenings. It's Saturday for me with Autonomy, so that's clashed, but I've been keeping up mostly except for last week's lectures and listening in anyway. The actioning part is my big challenge. Yeah.
Right on.
Good to see you, Kai.
Yeah, good to hear your voice, Richard. I see your picture, but I think you're outside in the yard somewhere. Yeah?
I'm in the kitchen. I don't have a camera in here. Lawrence was gonna play out, and then I think they were gonna have open discussion afterwards. So he's just gonna play the outro. Or what are you gonna play, Lawrence? You're gonna play a clip and then the outro.
He was gonna play a cool student-made commercial made by Lawrence and shows the skills that he's gained and improved in the last few months, and it's amazing.
Well, since Agnieszka asked for it, I'll play it. It's slightly different than the last time I played it on here, so I won't play it anymore after this. Then I'll hit the outro. Call it a night for the record.
Who's going to be first off the mute this morning?
Glad that I have this course now more than ever. Having a community of people to discuss how to be empowered and autonomous is really necessary and also therapeutic. I'm this much scared about the virus and a lot scared of what's coming down the pipe as a result.
All right, so first off, we're going to get you away from that fear and that stress that I'm sensing. And I want to get you into the practicality of exercising the conversations you're going to need to have.
Have you found that your skills aren't matching up with the challenges ahead? Here are 19 essential skills for success that school never taught you. Get your free copy by following the link below or visit getautonomy.info/19skills.
Oh, and don't forget Autonomy Toasters, 7 a.m. Pacific tomorrow morning. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, that's 10 a.m. Eastern.
Where's that guy live?
Hey, Kai, I have a friend visiting, and she says that your accent sounds South African, but I
Well,
told
it's
her you were
mixed.
not
There's
South
a
African.
mix.
So can you clarify for this lady who you are? Oh, unmute. You're muted. Kai, you're muted. Oh, yeah.
Cool, thanks, Agnes. Basically, I'm from Vietnam, born in Vietnam. Yeah, born and raised there, my first 6 years, and came to New Zealand. My father is Kiwi, my mother is Vietnamese. And we came to New Zealand just after the war, actually, in Vietnam, and settled here with my father, obviously Kiwi, again. Yeah, what else would you like to know?
Just saw your accent sounded
Doesn't
South
sound
African,
Kiwi.
not Kiwi. So it's all good.
Doesn't sound Kiwi.
I've lived a few different places and traveled a bit, and my dad is a seafarer. Pretty much has always been away during my growing up years, so I guess I got a bit of his accent as well. Yeah, who is the person? Is it Roz?
Oh no, that was my friend who's visiting my house physically in my house.
Where do you live in New Zealand?
Taking over the meeting. Where do you live in New Zealand?
I live right at the bottom of the South Island. We're two long islands, about 1,000 kilometers each long, longitudinally. And I live right at the bottom of the South Island.
What's it called?
Oh, the place? Invercargill. I didn't
Yeah, I
think you
know it.
You do?
Yeah, I lived in New Zealand for 3.5 years. I did a road trip around the South Island of New Zealand. It's stunning.
Wow.
There you go. We should all go visit Kai.
Yeah,
New Zealand.
Invercargill. I know it. No problem. There's a cool beach near there.
Yeah. Come and visit.
Nice. Thanks, Kai.
You're welcome.
Well, I'm not. I'll just chew then. Call Manfredi. Call Manfredi and give her this clip. She loves the sound of people chewing. Not. I knew it was you, Manfredo.
Lawrence, good job from what I saw of it.
Lawrence, that was excellent, actually. I was out of the room for a minute, so I didn't hear. I didn't hear you set it up, so I didn't know what you were playing. I was like, "This is awesome. What is this?" And Rich said, "This is what Lawrence put together." So well done. Thank you for doing that. That's great.
Yeah, thank you. I know. It was probably a little glitchy. I don't know if that's a network thing or because it's playing from a external hard drive through OBS. Actually, that's something to talk with Tyler about. I had the same issue playing the clips, shadow hosting last weekend, where it's sort of the audio would start and drop out and then come back in, and then it was out of sync. But
I didn't notice that. I just noticed how awesome it was. So I'm sure you'll fix those little minor things, but it was great.
Thanks a lot.
Now, where did you start with that? Did you start with the clip? Did you start with an idea? Did you start with slides? Where did that all begin?
So it began with about a minute 53 clip of Benny talking with you from week 2, Sunday Q&A, and kind of looked at it, put it in the NLE. Wasn't quite sure how to proceed, and then I looked for the audio for a backing track, a score, and structuring it sort of along the sections of the music is how I helped, or how I started to break it up, and just have pieces sort of moving in time with the music. And then obviously one thing I had to address right away was like taking out the sensitive information before Sonia and Benny talked about well, I guess this isn't
It was sensitive information, so it was taken out. But good job, yes. And then
then it was just trying to craft something coherent. I had more clips of you. Obviously it started out longer. It was 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and I just had some short clips of you, Richard, that I actually pulled from, I think, different Q&As, different times, and then some of the slides from the lecture. And then I tried, I got access to Place It and started taking those slides, instead of running the slides, trying to create a more dynamic, eye candy graphic with the intro maker, the slide maker on Place It. And Joshua asked me to pare it down to 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and then Tyler said, "Oh yeah, can we do a 1 minute version?" So just kind of whittled away at it and got it down. And then getting the 1 minute, that was one of the more challenging parts, because the outro, I had it set up so I cut a section, and the outro and the fade out landed right at 1 minute and 4 seconds. So I had to get a little more creative. I know, it's hard to describe, but it still sounds a little funny to me musically listening to it, but it works. It's good enough. And it's just I've kept refining it. Put those last graphics in last night with Agnieszka's help. She inspired the flames for Ignite Your Potential.
Agni means fire.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, I know how hard it is to cut it down from 3 minutes to 2 minutes to 1 minute like that, and you're at 104, and like, how do you take half seconds or frames out of parts, and what's missing, and how does it match up with the music now? It's not easy, but there's few people who know how to do that thing you just did.
Well, I look forward to, doing bigger and better things with that. It's fun getting in like frame by frame in some spots and really thinking carefully about, on frame by frame basis. There were little decisions to make.
How do you enjoy that work?
How do I enjoy it?
Do you enjoy it? Which pieces do you enjoy?
I don't know. There's just a feeling I get when I start messing around in there and cutting and chopping and dragging stuff around and building the structure. You know, like I said, it reminds me of working with audio. So there's a visual aspect to how things start building up.
I vote we call Lawrence media mage from now on, because he can write and he can video and he can music. So that covers all the media. Anyway, I have to scoot out. You guys have a good night. Mwah. Bye.
Good night. I really need to learn some of the effects. Like I was watching that Jocko video. I need to study how to make a simple piece of footage like that. Like what they did with that, sort of all the kind of bouncy effects and stuff.
Those are motion graphics. So that's outside of Adobe Premiere, it would be something like After Effects, Adobe After Effects. And then what you're doing is you have layers, and some of those layers move, and you can track them and match them up to other things and mask things and rotoscope things. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do with that. That's a skill set not a lot of people have either. So it's like you can go from editing to After Effects and you can get paid a lot more. But there's less work for After Effects because a lot more people just need basic editing, right? So it's good to know how to do both.
Right.
After Effects, you're going to leverage Photoshop, for instance. So if someone knows Photoshop and they know how to edit video, then After Effects is a natural thing. It's like it's like Adobe Premiere and Adobe Photoshop had a child, and it's After Effects. It's being able to use those graphics in motion in a video timeline.
Okay.
They should advertise it like that. People will probably be offended somehow.
Yeah, I've thought about looking at Creative Creative Cloud now, because I worked with Photoshop and I don't know, one of the things that goes with it. Back in like 2007, I started learning Photoshop. I got a little bit of experience with Photoshop.
I hardly ever use my Adobe suite, but it's such a good deal now. I think it's like $50 for the year. I have the whole thing. I have all the tools. So if I use it once or if I use it for a couple hours a year, it still pays for itself over and over. And if you have clients, you could easily pay for that. And you could justify it and write it off.
Definitely. I'm going to see how much I can squeeze out of HitFilm Express. And then this week, got to decide on building a computer. That was one of my items from my accountability meeting, is decide on buying it or building it. Because
all right, so in that buying it, is it PC or Mac?
It's
PC. Otherwise, you wouldn't consider building it, right? So, why do you need a PC and not a Mac? Do you know? Because if you call Jim Hood, look, here's my deal. What was it? Season 1, maybe I had to call him. Jim Hood and now his wife Beth, they're Autonomy graduates, and he has a full-time PC fix-it business, right? So my PC broke in like week 12 of the course, and my OS was all messed up. And so I called Jim, and so we got it fixed. It took like 4 days to get it fixed. It was a pain, and he wasn't even able to help, but he like helped talk me through it, so I didn't like blow a gasket. And so he says to me at one point, he goes, "You know, Rich, I make a healthy 6-figure income from fixing people's PCs." He said, "You want to know what I use as my computer?" I said, "No, what do you use, Jim?" He said, "A Mac." He said, "I can fix any Mac in 40 minutes or less," right? He's like, PCs, they can take days. You can have like reformats, new hard drives, new operating system, all sorts of crazy stuff. He's like, "I never run into that with Mac." Now, all that being said, I'm still on PC, but I've got people like Sabri Subi saying, "Look, just go buy the top of the line Mac. It's the best, fastest, whatever. And then you're so much more productive because of that." So if you have a situation where you can be productive and you're actually making money from your computer, then maybe he's right, right? But at this point, I don't think those are the things that hold me back. But maybe my mouse speed or something like that is the problem, right? He's like, "You wanted to set the mouse on the fastest settings." It's like, all right, dude, I'm all good.
Yeah, when I worked with audio, 10 years ago, it was a MacBook. I did a lot with an old MacBook with just 4 gigs of RAM.
And then the other issue is, could you just be running a Linux computer somehow? Because there's enough students in the course. There was only, I think, in season 1, there was only one, Luis. But now there's like 5, 10 of you guys that could be running Linux.
Yeah, I have mentioned to Luis, because I've got the old MacBook. I want to try and boot Linux on that, and got another old laptop, so I could get familiar there. So yeah.
Right on, dude. Well, good job hosting tonight. Feel free to close it down. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for Q&A.
All right.